Ever wonder why some people always seem to win? Not because they're smarter, richer, or stronger, but because their timing is flawless. You've seen them. The colleague who always speaks at just the right moment in a meeting and suddenly everyone listens. The entrepreneur who launches their idea just before the market explodes. The friend who always seems to luck into opportunities while you're still waiting for your turn. You're not imagining it. You work just as hard, but opportunities slip through your fingers, deals collapse, and people overlook you. It's infuriating, it's exhausting, and it makes you question if there's something wrong with you. Here's the truth you've never been told. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's a psychological weapon Machiavelli uncovered centuries ago, a weapon so powerful it separates the powerful from the powerless. He called it timing, not just patience, not just speed, timing, the law of when, knowing not just what to do or how to do it, but exactly when to do it, so that the world moves with you instead of against you. Get this wrong, and you'll always be one step behind. Reacting to what others decide, chasing scraps of power they leave behind. Get it right, and you'll start controlling outcomes instead of reacting to them. The question isn't whether timing matters. The question is whether you're ready to master it. Most people think success belongs to the fastest. Move quickly, seize the day, never hesitate. It sounds smart, it feels bold. But here's what you don't realize. When you rush, you reveal desperation, and desperation kills power. Eagerness isn't a virtue in power dynamics, it's a confession. It tells everyone at the table that you're hungry, that you're afraid of losing, that you'll accept worse terms just to lock something in. The confession bleeds away your leverage before you've even begun. Think about the last time you pitched an idea before it was ready, confessed your feelings before you were sure of theirs, jumped at an offer without thinking. Maybe you thought you were being proactive. Maybe you thought acting fast showed confidence. What it really showed was fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of being overlooked. Fear of not getting another chance. And predators smell fear before you open your mouth. They sense the rush in your tone, the urgency in your movements, the way you lean forward a little too much. And the moment they sense it, they start recalculating. They hold back. They lower their offer. They give you less because you've already told them, without words, that you'll take less. This is why patience is not weakness. Patience is a trap you set for others. It's the fox in the tall grass, invisible, still, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It's the negotiator who lets the silence drag on until the other side starts sweating. It's the friend who doesn't answer right away, forcing the other person to reveal how badly they want an answer. Patience flips the dynamic. It shifts desperation from you to them. You're no longer chasing, you're being chased. That's not inaction. That's calculated control. And once you experience it, you'll never go back to being the eager one again. Repeat this to yourself until it feels like second nature. I will not rush. I will choose my moment. Every time you feel the urge to act just to relieve your own discomfort, remember that affirmation. Because discomfort is temporary. Losing your leverage is permanent. But let's be clear. The opposite mistake is just as deadly. Waiting can feel safe. It can feel like discipline. It can even feel like power. But hesitation is just fear in disguise. When you hold back because you're afraid, you're not being strategic. You're surrendering without a fight. And the cost of waiting too long is invisible at first. You don't see the opportunities you've missed because they're gone, before you even realized they were there. All you see is a growing sense of regret, a fading sense of respect from others, and a life that feels like it's always almost ready to start. Think about how many windows in your life have opened and closed while you were busy preparing. that promotion you were going to ask for next quarter, that move you were going to make once things calm down, that person you were going to talk to when the time felt right. By the time you're ready, the window is gone. The opportunity belongs to someone else. And all that's left is the story you tell yourself about why it wasn't meant to be. But that's a lie. It was meant to be. You just didn't take it. In power dynamics, indecision is a signal. It tells everyone watching that you're waiting for someone else to make the first move. And once they know that, they'll act first and take what should have been yours. In negotiation, in relationships, in life, the person who acts at the right time wins the pot, and the person who hesitates settles for crumbs. So the trap isn't waiting. The trap is waiting out of fear. Strategic waiting is powerful. Fearful waiting is poison. The difference is whether you're waiting because you've chosen to or because you're scared to act. And only you know the truth in any given moment. But once you do know, you have to decide. Am I hesitating because it's not the right time yet? Or am I hesitating because I'm afraid? Tell yourself this before you let another window close. I strike when it matters, not when I'm scared. That single mental shift can turn years of missed chances into a lifetime of decisive wins. This is where timing stops being an abstract idea and becomes a weapon. The real secret isn't rushing or waiting. It's living in the razor-thin space between the two. Machiavelli's law of timing isn't about being slow or fast. It's about being deliberate. It's the art of circling the battlefield like a hawk, high enough to see the whole terrain, quiet enough that nobody hears you coming, patient enough to watch patterns emerge, and then, without warning, diving at exactly the moment when the prey can't escape. That's the sweet spot. People who command rooms know this. They don't jump into a conversation just because there's a pause. They let the silence build until the next thing they say lands like a hammer. They don't pitch their ideas the second they think of them. They watch the mood shift, the alliances form, the resistance weaken, and then they launch it when it will be irresistible. They don't act on every impulse. They train themselves to read the emotional temperature of the room, the power shifts behind the scenes, the hesitation in other people's eyes. Because the person who controls the tempo of a situation controls the outcome. Everyone else is just reacting. Think about how different your life would look if you were the one controlling the tempo. If, instead of chasing every opportunity, you created opportunities. If, instead of being the first to jump or the last to move, you became the one whose movements felt inevitable. People stop underestimating you when they can't predict you. They stop trying to manipulate you when they can't get ahead of you. You're not just in the game anymore. You're controlling the clock. This is a mindset shift. It's a commitment to observation before action. It's training yourself to look at every interaction as a dance. When to lead, when to pause, when to let the other person step forward, when to pull back. Once you internalize it, hesitation disappears, because you're no longer guessing. You're watching, calculating, waiting for the opening you know is coming, and then you move. That's why the predators of history have always been described as patient. Not because they loved waiting, but because they loved winning. Say it now so it sticks. I control the tempo. Make it a habit. Make it a way of walking into a room, of answering messages, of negotiating your time. Because tempo isn't just about speed. It's about power. Patience, when it's strategic, is not passive. It's active pressure. Most people think patience means doing nothing. In reality, it's making the other side uncomfortable enough to show their hand. When you're not immediately available, you create scarcity. When you're not quick to answer, you create mystery. Scarcity breeds desire. Delay creates leverage. Look at how people react to silence. The longer you let it hang, the more they start to reveal. They fill the space with offers, explanations, apologies. They show you their intentions without realizing it. The longer you wait, the more information you collect, and the more obvious the weak points become. This isn't cruelty, it's discipline. Machiavelli didn't wait out of laziness. He waited because information and leverage grow with time. This is why patience unsettles people. We live in a culture of instant reactions and constant availability. When you break that pattern, people don't know what to do with you. They start to question themselves. Did I say something wrong? Are they angry? Should I follow up? Should I offer more? Without realizing it, they're moving onto your chessboard, playing at your pace, dancing to your rhythm. And you're still silent, still calm, still watching. Patience is power because it flips the script. It takes you from the hunted to the hunter. It makes people compete for your response instead of you competing for theirs. It turns your time and attention into rare resources that others must earn. And once they have to earn it, they start to value it. Anchor this mindset with a simple affirmation: my patience is power. Not my passivity, not my delay, my patience. Power in the pause, leverage in the silence, information in the waiting. When you start using patience this way, you stop being someone who gets strung along and start being the person who quietly pulls the strings. Patience without decisive action is just waiting. It's a trap you set for yourself. The point of watching, of waiting, of building tension isn't to sit forever. It's to strike at the exact moment when the odds have shifted in your favor. That moment doesn't announce itself with flashing lights. It comes quietly. A hesitation in their voice, a crack in their confidence, an opening in the schedule, a deal about to slip through someone else's fingers. And when it arrives, you don't explain, you don't warn, you don't ask for permission, you move. This is what separates the patient from the predator. Anyone can sit back and wait. Very few can explode at the right time. When you've been still for long enough, your move feels like an earthquake. People respect the person who moves first when it matters most, and they fear the one they didn't see coming. It's the manager who's quiet in meetings until they drop a single comment that ends the argument. It's the negotiator who concedes nothing for days and then, in one sentence, closes the deal. It's the friend who's put up with excuses for months and then walks away without a speech, leaving the other person stunned. This burst is power because it shows everyone watching that your patience isn't weakness, it's coiled strength. It proves that you're not someone who avoids conflict. You're someone who chooses your battles. That choice makes you unpredictable. It makes people think twice before crossing you, because they know you won't just sit back forever. They know there will be a cost, and they won't know when it's coming. This is also how you stop being manipulated. The manipulator thrives on predictability. If they know you'll always give in, they'll keep pushing. If they know you'll explode immediately, they'll plan around it. But when they can't tell whether you'll wait or strike, you become dangerous, and danger commands respect. Every time you feel yourself hesitating at the edge of action, remind yourself, I strike without hesitation when my moment comes. That's not recklessness. That's the culmination of patience and observation. When the window opens, you move through it before it closes. Not because you're desperate, but because you've prepared for this exact second. Timing doesn't just decide outcomes, it controls emotions. Slow things down and your opponent gets anxious. Speed things up and they make mistakes. When you decide the pace, you decide the power. Most people live in reaction. They answer immediately. They rush to fill silences. They let other people's urgency infect them. In doing so, they hand over control of the tempo. Imagine walking into a negotiation where the other side is frantic to close. They talk faster. They offer more. They trip over themselves. All you have to do is sit back, speak slowly, ask questions, and watch them unravel. Or imagine the reverse. Someone's trying to stall you, drag things out, wear you down. If you suddenly accelerate, deadlines, decisions, consequences, you throw them off balance. They scramble, they slip, they reveal where they're weak. This is the part most people never learn. You can create pressure clocks for others while staying calm yourself. You can impose deadlines, withhold answers, speed up decisions, slow down meetings. You can set the rhythm. And once people start moving to your rhythm, they're no longer thinking about their own strategy. They're thinking about you. That's when you know you've taken control. It's not about being manipulative. It's about being deliberate. You stop handing your emotional state to anyone who snaps their fingers. You stop letting other people's urgency become your urgency. You start acting on your own timing, and you start making others act on it too. That's psychological control at its cleanest. Say it now, because this is the shift that changes everything. I set the pace. Others follow. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You control your tempo, and you pull the world into it. Mastering timing is not a trick you pull out for special occasions. It's an identity you grow into. The old you was reactive, jumping at every ping of your phone, every demand of someone else's calendar, every opportunity that looked shiny for a moment. The new you moves differently. You don't rush because someone is watching. You don't freeze because you're afraid. You stand still until you're ready, and when you're ready, you move with such certainty that people feel it in their stomachs. This shift doesn't just change how you act. It changes how people see you. When you stop living on everyone else's schedule, you start looking inevitable. Your decisions feel heavier. Your presence feels rarer. People whisper that you've changed, and you have. They say you're colder, but you're not. You're clearer. They say you're harder to read, but you're not. You're simply no longer giving away your timing. What used to be random bursts of luck become predictable wins, because you're no longer waiting for the world to hand you a moment. You're creating your own. Some people will hate this. They will tell you you've become calculating, distant, different. Good. The old you played by their clock. The new you sets the clock. The old you was a participant. The new you is a conductor. That's what it means to be untouchable. Not that no one can reach you, but that no one can rush you or slow you down without your consent. Anchor it in yourself with the last affirmation, the one that ties all of this together. I am the master of my moment. Say it until it's not a mantra, but a description of who you are. It's not about perfection. It's about direction. Every time you choose your timing consciously, you carve away another layer of the old you and step deeper into the identity of someone who controls outcomes instead of reacting to them. Here's the truth that sits under every story of power you've ever heard. Machiavelli's law of timing isn't about luck. It's about control. Wait too long and you lose. Move too soon and you lose. Move at the right time and you win. Every time. That's not superstition. It's psychology. That's why the ones who understand it seem unstoppable, and the ones who don't feel cursed. Your next decision is coming. Maybe today. Maybe tomorrow. Will you rush? Will you hesitate? Or will you strike? You've spent your life reacting. This is your chance to start orchestrating. This is your chance to become the person who doesn't just play the game, but controls the clock the game runs on. Drop it in the comments right now so it sinks in. I control the tempo. Don't just type it, feel it. Because this isn't a gimmick or a one-time tactic. It's a way of moving through the world. In a world full of people reacting, be the one who times. Because the person who controls timing controls everything.